News Channel 2 News with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
Luckily, we're not seeing what Buffalo's seeing there. Holy cow.
Yeah, well, my goodness. At least today, we've just got a few flurries. Yes, it's cold, but I think at this point we're used to it. It's been so cold for so long. We look at the current radar right now, and as you can see here, there's not a whole lot of activity. Of course, anytime we get that northwesterly wind this time of year, we're obviously going to see at least some form of lake effect. Now, thankfully, it's not that strong and enough to at least produce a light coating of snow, or at least a light dusting in a lot of spots here. But again, as we head throughout the morning, this will gradually fizzle out as that wind direction will slightly shift. We look right now at the roadways, and as I mentioned, it's not that bad out. You can see, of course, enough to at least produce a light coating of snowfall in some locations, especially south and west of Utica. But, of course, the intersection there, you can clearly see it's not at least the norm. It is just the outlier here in a lot of spots this morning. We're just dealing with mostly cloudy skies, a few areas clearing up. But I think more importantly, it is still bitterly cold. Wind chills are in the negatives again in the Mohawk Valley. Slightly warmer as you head out to western New York. Now today, again, on paper, our highs climb into the 20s. Wind chills remain in the teens. We are expecting, of course, one more day in the 20s, and then that Arctic blast arrives Friday. The latest on snowfall, the arrival time of the cold, the winds, everything you need to know throughout the next few days coming up in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. NBC Today.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Good Thursday morning, everybody. Time now is 5:14, going on 5:15. Here's a look at what you can expect as you head out the door this morning. So yesterday we saw some early morning snowfall. Today, same story, early morning snowfall. Today's snowfall, though, a bit less impactful. Instead of maybe an inch or two or maybe 3 inches of fluff, it's more so maybe a dusting in a lot of spots here early today. Nonetheless, the temperature on paper at -2 feels like -2 out there with calm winds. So overall, a pretty cold morning to start your day today. We are tracking that lingering light snowfall and flurries early today with quieter weather until around tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening. Then we're tracking the arrival of snowfall with an Arctic blast set to bring those temperatures this weekend even colder than they are right now. Again, we're seeing that snowfall moving through the area early today. That snow band relatively weakens. We could even see some peaks of sunshine today, but nonetheless, our highs will climb into the 20s. Feels like temperatures remain in the teens. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A major water main
Tracker 2 team, where we track storms. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. On this Thursday, we begin with a few flurries to start your day today, but following that, things will look a little bit more on the quieter side heading into this evening and especially through early tomorrow. Live radar, you can see those snow showers passing through central New York. Again, not a lot early today, but enough to coat some surfaces. And in downtown Utica, another spot where you have maybe a few flurries falling, but nothing really that impactful to start your day today. So let's just dive right into the forecast here. A lot of things to talk about, especially for the next few days. Some big changes in the weather pattern here. I want to start with this. Of course, the latest trends in this Clipper system, which, as I mentioned yesterday, at least the brunt of it is shifting south. We're going to see a cold front arriving on Friday, so a bit less in the form of persistent and at least more notable snowfall. This will still produce maybe an inch or two in some spots, but this won't produce a lot of snow here locally. We'll dive into the snowfall amounts here in a minute, but I want to time this out here. So today, lingering flurries, even some peaks of sunshine, relatively quieter evening and quiet overnight tonight. The wind direction will shift, allowing the lake effect to end. It's a cloudy start to your Friday. Temperatures climb to the 20s. By 5 p.m., we're going to see the arrival of light snow. This will initially not produce anything major for impacts, but as we head into the overnight, watch what happens. We have a cold front moving through. You can see that very dark line shifting its way eastward. That's our best chance for at least more notable snowfall. Then Saturday early in the morning, we've got some lake effect rolling through. Keep in mind, look at the temperatures here. We're already at 0 degrees for Saturday. That cold front really bringing down those temperatures. And that lake effect, which initially has a more northwesterly flow here, shifts a bit more to a northerly flow. So a lot of the brunt of the snowfall here throughout the system will be falling generally outside of our area. Keep in mind, look at this, by overnight into Sunday, we're at -6 for that temperature. And the wind chills themselves, look at this. We go from the 20s on Friday evening around 4 or 5 p.m. at 4 at midnight. Then by 10 a.m. Saturday morning, we're at -24, -25, even -32 in Morrisville. And those wind chills still remain bitterly cold throughout the day Saturday and heading into Sunday. So when it comes to snowfall, as we fast forward into Friday and then early Saturday morning, generally 2 to 4 inches in areas north and west of Utica, 1 to 3 inches as you head farther south and east. So this is not a major event, but obviously it's enough to at least coat some surfaces with some fresh snowfall overnight into early Saturday morning. Now, those temperatures you see there, Saturday, Sunday, Saturday's high will be taking place likely around midnight, and then much of the day on Saturday will be below 0. Wind chills in the -10 to 20 degree range. So another bitter cold weekend on tap, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely be careful this weekend. Eric, thanks. Well, Decision 2020 once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. Get ready to bundle up once again this morning. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us from the Weather Center with the once again chilly forecast.
Yeah, that's right, Gary. We're back in the negatives again to start your day today, along with a few flurries. Let's take a look at the radar here. And again, like yesterday, we start out with a few snow showers. It's nothing major, though. In fact, a bit less snow compared to what you woke up yesterday morning with. But nonetheless, it's still there, and at least Lake Ontario just consistently wants to make sure that we're aware of Lake Ontario pretty much all winter with the amount of snow we've seen from it. But nonetheless, we look at the roadways early today. They're not too bad. There are some locations, especially south and west of Utica, that could be seeing enough to coat some roadways. You can see down there in Sangerfield at the intersection of Route 12 and 20. So today we're tracking again those few lingering light snow showers, regardless temperatures and wind chills in the negatives to start your day. Now here I'm showing wind chill or the feels like temperature, but the actual temperature itself also at -2 in Rome. So it is still a very cold morning to start your day today. So on paper, our highs will climb into the 20s this afternoon with mostly cloudy skies. Like yesterday, we will be seeing the potential for maybe some areas of partial clearing. So today, not a very highly impactful day. In fact, tomorrow, the same sort. But tomorrow evening, widespread light snow moves in ahead of an Arctic front. We'll be talking about that in the bitter plunge in temperatures this weekend straight ahead. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. In an exclusive...
Channel 2 is brought to you by Holland Farms Bakery and Deli. This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise, everybody, on this Thursday morning. Our photo of the day today brings us to Morrisville, and a great shot here of a sun pillar. So whenever we get these cold temperatures this time of year, sometimes we see some unique atmospheric phenomena, and that has been the case here. Well, it looks like, of course, the time I like to use these graphics, sometimes they don't necessarily work. Let's try this again. Come on, let's load it up here. Come on. Oh, of course, doesn't like to load. I'm going to do this right now because it always happens. I always save my picture and then it doesn't like to show up until I load it again. So I'm going to make sure I show you guys this photo here because I'm super excited to share it. It is, again, of a sun pillar, and let's see if this loads up right here. All right, take two. Let's see if this loads up. Come on, there we go. Yes, sometimes technology is not on my side here, but bear with me. Look at the shot here. It's taken in Morrisville, a beautiful sun pillar. This is caused by unique, at least, characteristics of flakes or ice particles in the sky that reflect the sunlight into a beam. So when the sun rises, sometimes maybe we'll see this when days are very cold. So at least over the next few days, if we get at least some sort of snowfall lingering in the sky, you could see a scene like this. So thank you to Terry for the submission. If you have one you'd like to share with us, WKTV.com/weather/pics, the place to submit your own. Photo video brought to you every morning by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Terry Hawk with quite the eye, huh?
Yes, very, very beautiful photo.
A Hawkeye. Eric, thanks. The opening ceremony for the 20...
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody. On this Thursday, we are starting out the day with a few flurries, but I want to show you guys downtown Utica right now because I mentioned literally moments ago that sun pillar photo I was showing you guys. Well, we're seeing light pillars right now. It might be hard to see, but you look out in the distance there. See some of the lights out in the distance? Because of the nature of the snowflakes falling in parts of the sky, you can see that beam of light moving its way up into the sky there. So it's a pretty interesting sight this morning. You might catch some light pillars on your way into work early today. But besides light pillars, we are still tracking a few flurries due to that northwest wind direction here across Lake Ontario. As the wind direction shifts tonight through tomorrow, it quiets down, but you can see here another round of snowfall arriving as we head into Friday evening. And this is a better shot of at least producing some accumulating snow. Not a lot of snow, and I'll show the amounts here in a second, but at least at minimum a coating of snow on some surfaces early Saturday morning. But I want to start timing it out here because there's a lot of things taking place in the span of, say, 24 hours starting tomorrow. So today, highs are in the 20s, a few glimpses of sunshine, otherwise mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, it is a cloudy day to start your day. We start out in the teens, we climb into the 20s yet again. And then we see that widespread light snow move in the evening hours, right around sunset, 5:30 time frame there. Evening commute hours. Notice a cold front moving through right here. It's a very notable band of dark blue. But then watch the temperatures and the red dots here, or the red boxes, as we progress to the overnight. They cool down quickly. We're already at 0 by 6 a.m. Saturday, and that temperature at Utica only decreases from there. You can see all the wide range of temperatures heading as far out as Fultonville, going down into the -2, 3, 4 degree range by -6 by midnight. And notice some lake effect, which mainly has this northwesterly direction here. A few flurries early Sunday. That snow will shift south and west of us as you get more of a northerly wind at play here. Now, wind chills. This is Friday at 9 p.m. Then this is Friday at midnight, or Saturday at midnight. Notice a quick drop in temperatures. Feels like conditions throughout the day Saturday will be in the -20 to potentially -30 degree range. And again, when it comes to snowfall, we're not expecting a lot of it when the system rolls through, but enough to at least to coat some surfaces here. 2 to 4 inches north and west of Utica, 1 to 3 inches as you head farther south. Your 7-day forecast, lingering snow showers early Saturday, but those bitter cold temperatures still begin your day, and it remains bitterly cold as we head into the second half of the weekend. But it's interesting how it only lasts for the weekend as we head into the start of next week. We do have some warmer chances for at least warmer temperatures into the 20s by Tuesday and Wednesday. So a slight warm up following this weekend.
Yeah, just be careful this weekend, boy.
Yes,
it's going to be brutal. Well, as we sit under feet of snow, let's think summer.
The news with Gary Liberatore and meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us here on this Thursday morning. I'm Gary Liberatore.
And I'm Storm Tracker 2 meteorologist Eric Gage.
And we've seen water main breaks, but none that have shut down several blocks like that in Buffalo.
Yeah, that's a pretty crazy, the size of it over there. And yeah, I mean, over there as well, they have to deal with the cold too, as well as us here locally. Again, it's a very cold start to the day. Let's take a look at how things are shaping up as you head out the door this morning. First off, when it comes to snowfall, it's not a lot. You got a few bands of some light snow showers to begin your morning, maybe a few flurries out there. Not as much in terms of accumulation as what we saw yesterday, with some spots picking up a couple inches of fluff. Today, more of a sandy layer of light flurries on the ground in some spots. You can see here on the traffic cameras in a lot of spots here. Roadways are generally clear heading up north of Barneveld, heading into Utica itself, Herkimer, and of course Sangerfield between Route 12 and 20 intersection right there. You can see it is producing some minor accumulations south and west of Utica. The wind chills this morning in the negatives yet again. We're at -3 in Rome, and not too much of a relief in the rest of the state. Pretty much everywhere except for that warm pocket in Dansville at in the single digits or at negative to start the day today. And of course, some spots out west seeing a few flurries. Now on paper, we climb to the 20s. Wind chills remain in the teens this afternoon. We do dry up as the wind direction shifts, especially this evening and tonight. Now, as we head into the next few days, starting tomorrow, it starts out dry, widespread light snow moves in, and then an Arctic front arrives, and these temperatures plummet. We'll talk about how cold we get this weekend in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. NBC Today Show host Savannah Guthrie.
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back to Sunrise. Time now is 6:13. Here's what you can expect heading out the door this morning in your forecast in a minute. Let's begin with a look at the current temperature right now, which, I mean, would you guess that it's very cold yet again? We're at 0 degrees. Calm winds, so I guess we have warmed up from the negatives, at least over the last hour or so. Nonetheless, though, it's still a bitter cold morning out there today. What we're expecting today, again, a few lingering light snow showers early this morning. That will taper off. Following that, we'll be expecting mainly quiet weather this evening through tonight and much of tomorrow. Then, following the evening hours on Friday, we are expecting the arrival of widespread light snow and an Arctic front that's going to drop those temperatures significantly as we head toward the end of the week. We see some of those snow showers here on the radar right now, and notice as we head throughout the day today, the snowfall gradually ends. We could even see some peaks of sunshine as well mixed in with these cloudy skies, but temperatures still peaking in the 20s. Another day in the 20s, but that's really about it. Following that, we have that major cool down this weekend. We'll have latest on that in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. A major water main break flooded.
Storm Tracker 2 team, where we track storms. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody, on this Thursday. Time now is 6:18, and we begin this morning with a live look at the radar and basically seeing how things are shaping up early today. And we have some very minor lake effect response, and this time of year, anytime we get a northwest wind, Lake Ontario will at least have some impacts, at least until the water gets so cold, not freezing over, by the way. It hasn't happened in quite a while, I think over 100 years in some spots, or nearly 100 years. But either way, this morning we have a few flurries we're tracking. But besides that, still a very cold start to your day today. Impact-wise, very little, as that snowfall producing maybe a few flurries, if that. But as you look ahead throughout the next couple of days, I want to focus a bit more on, for one, this snowfall arriving, but more importantly, this Arctic front that follows. As we head throughout Friday into Friday night, that band moves its way through the area. initially bringing light snow to central New York, but the backside of it really changing up the weather pattern as we head toward the weekend. So on our Skycast here, I want to time it out here. So today, it's pretty quiet. Yes, we have a few flurries, still stubborn, but some of us might even see some peaks of sunshine, especially the farther east you go here in central New York. Then by this evening and tonight, we're cooling down into the teens, maybe single digits. Tomorrow, we start out in the teens. It's actually a less cold day. We have more of a south wind at play here, so no lake effect expected Friday. But then we're going to see that widespread light snow move in as we head into Friday evening and Friday nights. Initial time frame right around 5, 6 o'clock rush hour, but the snowfall, at least initially, will not be that heavy. As we head into the evening hours, look at that cold front. You might be able to see the definition of it right here. That dark blue line, it shifts its way east. Now watch the temperatures following that cold front, or I should say Arctic front. We're back down below zero or in the 0 degree range here by early Saturday morning. We have some lingering lake effect, but watch as a northerly wind begins to take shape and that lake effect somewhat sweeps its way south, impacting the Syracuse area, maybe the hills of Madison County, but when it comes to the Mohawk Valley, we're not in the brunt of the lake bands Saturday morning. So when it comes to snowfall, a lot of that will happen in the overnight and early morning hours, drying up throughout the day. But, I mean, just look at the wind chill difference. We were in the 20s Friday evening, and then as we head into Saturday morning at 7 to 10 a.m., we're at minus 24, minus 32 in Morrisville, and it stays like that throughout the entire day Saturday. So when we mention why we issue alert days for days like Saturday and Sunday, that is why. Frostbite can happen very quickly with temperatures, or at least feels like temperatures that cold. When it comes to snowfall, you see generally 1 to 3 inches in the light blue zones, 2 to 4 inches north and west of Utica. It's not a lot, but it's enough to coat some surfaces early Saturday morning. Your 7-day forecast following that Arctic blast this weekend. Just before you know it, it's warming back up again into the teens and 20s by next week. So almost an afterthought after the weekend. We're right back to normal, and hopefully some slightly warmer temperatures, getting a bit of a thaw here locally.
Yeah, these frigid weekends are becoming a theme, though.
Yeah, a pattern. Every other weekend we get an Arctic blast.
This might be the last one. Eric, thanks. Decision 2026 now once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. Meteorologist Eric Gage joining us from the Weather Center with the once again chilly forecast. And Eric, once again below zero, right?
Yeah, that's right. Hovering around the zero mark, below zero. It is a cold morning again, Gary. We're also tracking a few snow showers. Let's take a look here on the radar where we're seeing some minor flurries coming off of Lake Ontario. It's enough to coat some surfaces early today with a few flurries. It's nothing like what we saw yesterday, but nonetheless, we still have some of that taking place again, mainly south and west of Utica. Roadways this morning, a live view from across the Mohawk Valley. Barneveld, Utica, Herkimer, roadways are pretty clear. You head down south and west of Utica towards Sangerfield, the Route 12 and 20 connection there. Yes, there are some snow-covered surfaces down there, but that snowfall is at its highest potential right now, which again, it's not a lot. You can see that the roads are just lightly covered with snowfall. So we look at the state condition-wise, wind chill of 0 in Rome right now, and you head out in western New York, mainly single digits with some snow showers reported across much of the Finger Lakes area and in the negatives as we head into the southern tier near Binghamton. But the next 12 hours, you see here, we climb into the 20s on paper. Wind chills remaining in the teens. We are expecting a slightly warmer day tomorrow, but then that Arctic blast is on the way this weekend. We'll be diving into the details on that in a few minutes. Gary?
Eric, thanks. And don't forget, the Storm Tracker 2 forecast is never more than 10 minutes away each morning. In an exclusive...
This live look of downtown Cooperstown is brought to you by the Leatherstocking Credit Union.
Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. If you're just tuning in right now, we'll get into the forecast, which will involve at least a slight relief in terms of cold temperatures before you return to, of course, bitter cold wind chills this weekend. But let's just take a step back and enjoy the beauty of our area. This is a photo sent in to us by Terry in Morrisville of a beautiful winter sunrise there. And if you notice, there appears to be not a ball of light, but a pillar of light there. That is called a sun pillar, and it's the same process as light pillars at nighttime. Basically, you have the right conditions when temperatures are very cold in the atmosphere, producing at least those shards of ice or the unique characteristics of the snowflakes, allowing the light to reflect vertically like that. So at least over the next few days, with temperatures plummeting this weekend, you have an opportunity to see situations like this. So an amazing photo by Terry, sent in again from Morrisville. If you have a one like this you'd like to send to us, WKTV.com/weather/pics. You can submit your own or view all the thousands of other amazing submissions across the area. Your photo of the day every morning brought to you by GPO Federal Credit Union. Gary?
Another gorgeous picture right there.
We're treated nice to all these photos, Gary.
Eric, thanks. Well, a 9-year-old girl in Maine.
New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good morning, everybody, on this Thursday. Just like yesterday, we're tracking a few snow showers to start your day, but the lake effect is a bit weaker this morning compared to yesterday. We look at the Yorkville Battery Live radar, and I can see right now just the latest trends of this lake effect machine here is unimpressive, very light snowfall, but nonetheless, it is still snowing, especially in the hills of Madison County, which produced at least some snow-covered roads down there. But at least in downtown Utica, I mean, you got a pretty colorful scene here right now. I mean, we have some partial clearing out in the distance, some vibrant colors here, at least produced by the headlights and traffic lights, but nonetheless, it is still a pretty nice scene out there early today. So weather begins to quiet down as we progress throughout the morning and afternoon. However, we've got some busy weather to look forward to as we head into tomorrow and especially the weekend. So let's dive right into it. So the driver of our weather pattern, at least tomorrow through Saturday, is an Arctic front moving its way in. Now, the brunt of the snowfall stays to our south, but we're still going to see that cold front work its way in. That'll provide us with our best opportunity for snowfall heading into Friday evening and Friday night. Now, if we piece it together here in the Skycast, we can see here this morning and this afternoon, weather begins to quiet down. It's a relatively uneventful day today, aside from some nuisance lake effect snow. The wind direction shifts in the evening and overnight, so we're not seeing any lake effect early tomorrow with that south wind at play here. But it's a brief south wind. Before we know it, that wind direction will shift as we're going to see light flurries in the evening hours Friday, switching over to around some moderate to heavy snow as that cold front works through right around 11, maybe closer to midnight Friday night. Following that, look at the temperature drop. We're already down into the single digits or below zero by 6 a.m. Saturday. Watch mainly this lake effect band. See how it starts to impact the Mohawk Valley early Saturday? That band will begin to sweep its way south Saturday afternoon, so the impacts throughout the area here locally will decrease throughout the day, and of course Sunday will be a lot more in terms of quiet weather. When it comes to temperatures, I mean, I want to show you guys the difference here between Friday evening and Saturday morning. This is 9 p.m. Friday. We're in the 20s and teens. Then that Arctic front rolls through, and look at the temperature drop, at least the wind chill factor, minus 20, even as low as minus 30, minus 35. It is a bitter cold Saturday, and even a bitter cold Saturday night into Sunday, which would be the coldest, at least time frame here over the next few days. When it comes to snowfall accumulation, this is not a major event here. I mean, we're going to see maybe a couple of inches here and there, a bit more north and west of Utica. But based off this event here, expect at least some snowfall on the ground, on your cars, and on the roadways early Saturday morning. Enough to potentially use a snow shovel, snow brush, you name it. Following this weekend, though, we're going to be seeing those temperatures climbing a little bit, so this Arctic blast will end, and we're back into the 20s by Tuesday and Wednesday. So either way, it's still a very cold weekend, and make sure you guys bundle up and stay warm.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
Here we go.
Eric, thanks. The opening ceremony for the Eric Gage joining us now. And Eric, a rather quiet day out there today.
Yes, we're seeing the snowfall taper off, even some faded sunshine. Still a little cold out there, but it is drying up, which is the key. We look at the radar right now, and a couple of things to mention. As you can see, of course, some lingering lake effect down in the Finger Lakes area. In fact, we zoom in here, we can see that moving through basically parts of Chenango County in the southern tier. But I want to emphasize more on the current conditions outside right now. You see, of course, the roadways are clearing up. Looking at the skies, though, and here's the thing, when we have these blasts of cold temperatures that are impacting, at least when it comes to lake effect, but when there's no lake effect, well, we actually get better opportunities for skies to clear, at least faded sunshine in a lot of spots. The dew points are so incredibly low, into the negatives in some spots, maybe single digits. The only way you counteract that is with the Great Lakes providing us with lake effect snow. When that lake effect ends, the air just dries right up again. You get some warm fronts and you get some serious moisture getting dragged in from the south, that you really start to see that overcast condition return. So when we get temperatures to be on the colder side this winter time, usually it means we get more opportunities for sunshine, which I guess is a bit of a positive here. It depends on if you guys want slightly warmer temperatures and overcast, or clearing skies and colder weather. Nonetheless, we are still expecting some faded sunshine today. That will turn to mostly cloudy skies tonight as our next weather maker arrives tomorrow. This will be in the form of some light snow starting tomorrow evening, switching over to a band of heavier snow tomorrow night, and then comes that Arctic blast. We'll talk about how cold those wind chills get coming up in a few minutes.
Electric school bus mandate is now less than a year.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are still tracking a few areas of snowfall, but it's still continuing to wind down. Here's a look at our quad camera here of all four cameras here across much of central New York. And we're seeing a mix of sunshine, of flurries, of clouds, pretty much a mixed bag of weather today, but it is a lot quieter compared to yesterday. You have some lingering lake effect here. You can see it getting picked up on the radar scans outside of the Finger Lakes here. Besides that, that's really all the impacts weather-wise we'll be seeing for the remainder of the day today through much of tomorrow. But the real weather maker arrives tomorrow night in the form of an Arctic front. We can see this arrival right here, producing around us some heavier snowfall. I would say closer to the 10 to midnight time frame tomorrow night. So lighter snow in the evening, heavier snow overnight, and then some lingering lake effect, which will eventually shift its way toward the Syracuse area as we head into Saturday. So timing it out here in the Skycast, we do have a few areas of clearing taking place today. Temperatures tonight cooling back down into the single digits. Another dry, cloudy morning in store for us tomorrow. And then as we head into tomorrow night, we're going to see the arrival of some light snowfall. So by your evening commute time, yes, it's snowing out. I don't think the impacts will be that high just yet, at least until that snow really starts to accumulate in the overnight hours. Keep in mind the temperatures are going to plummet quickly. Look at this right here. We're at 27 degrees of temperature at 11:30. We fast forward to around 5, 6 a.m., and we're back down to 0 degrees Saturday morning, and that's not even including the actual wind chill factor. We can see some very blustery conditions here. That lake effect band might be hitting the Mohawk Valley briefly, but watch as the wind direction shifts more northerly. That lake effect will eventually shift its way out towards Syracuse in western Oneida County. So we look at a timeline here of the wind chills, and this is the big factor here. So Friday at 9 p.m., we're at 22 degrees, the feels-like temperature in Utica. We head into midnight, and you can see the cold air starting to work its way in, and then the blast of Arctic air moves in, and thus feels-like temperatures drop down -20, maybe -30 in some spots throughout the day. Saturday, pretty much remaining in the -20 degree range for all of Saturday, into Saturday night, and eventually into early Sunday. So if you have any plans this weekend, I will tell you, I mean, aside from Saturday morning, the snowfall ends. It's pretty quiet later in the day Saturday and all of Sunday, but you definitely want to make sure you bundle up because that wind chill could mean some very early frostbite if you have any exposed skin for a longer period of time. So when it comes to snowfall heading into Saturday morning, we're thinking roughly 2 to 4 inches in a lot of zones here to the northwest, maybe some outlying areas seeing a little more, 1 to 3 inches farther south. Again, lake effect has not been very cooperative this year, so I mean we're going to be closely watching the impact of this. But again, a lot of spots heading south and east of Utica, seeing a lot less in terms of snowfall. So because of the cold, we do have alert days for Saturday and Sunday. That cold weather really sticking around. Eventually, we're going to see a slight warm-up next week. This Arctic blast will not last forever. We're back down, or at least back up, into the 20s by Tuesday and Wednesday next week. So a slight warm-up into what's been still a very frigid past few weeks.
An Alaska-type weekend.
Oh, easily. Probably even colder than Alaska, too.
Watch, it will be. Eric, thanks. And thanks to him being such a big part. Good afternoon once again, and thank you for joining us for this half hour. And Eric, a nice quiet day for us out there.
Yeah, some sun shining. Yes, it's a little cold out, but I mean, as long as we get the sun out, it makes it feel a little bit warmer, right? Let's take a look right now at what the cold air is doing. More importantly, out to the Great Lakes. When we have all this cold air working in, it does a number on the lake's water temperature, which in turn affects lake effect potential here. You can see the average temperature of a lot of the lakes down into the 30s, in 40s in some spots. That's mainly down in the southern portions of Lake Michigan, though. Why don't we focus more on the ice coverage here? I'm going to zoom out a little bit so we can see a bit more regarding the Great Lakes, because there are 2 lakes that have really started to show signs of ice coverage, or at least one being Lake Erie because of how shallow it is, but Lake Huron too. The Georgian Bay is almost entirely ice covered right now, so we're not going to see, aside from a miracle warm-up, any lake enhancement from here. So that covers a section of lake-enhanced snowfall that we could see earlier in the season. So basically, any exposed water is the only water we have left. So it means wind direction needs to be almost precise, and on top of that, we need the right wind, or at least temperature difference. So basically, it gets harder and harder for lake effect to form. You can see here, it's fizzling out. It's not as powerful as previous snow. You can see the Great Lakes actually providing influence there in the southern tier. But either way, this afternoon we have some partial clearing out there. Roadways much improved, and temperatures slowly climbing into the 20s. That wind chill factor a bit warmer compared to days past. But enjoy this slight warm up, because by tomorrow, especially tomorrow night, that Arctic blast moves in. We have a look at those wind chill values and how cold we get throughout the weekend, and the snowfall potential too on Friday straight ahead.
Eric, thanks. First Lady Melania Trump met with
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are still tracking a few light flurries starting to end, especially south and west of Utica. Some blue skies working their way in across, say, parts of the Mohawk Valley, southern valleys, even some locations up to the north here. And look at the radar, some of the snowfall's really starting to fizzle out as those temperatures climb. Lake effect gets less and less strong as it starts to match the temperatures near the Great Lakes. But nonetheless, as we look ahead to this afternoon, and especially over the next few days, we're going to be seeing the arrival of a Clipper system, which actually shifts south of us. We're going to be seeing more of the cold front or Arctic front associated with it. And anytime in meteorology we see the jet stream behave like this, it just telling us right now we're getting an Arctic blast of temperatures, including wind chills as well, based off of all that Arctic air, basically getting a fresh supply on a highway of winds all the way from the Arctic Circle itself. Then we're going to see some lingering lake effect early Saturday. A lot of that's going to be eventually falling out toward the Syracuse area, aside from the early morning hours Saturday. So let's put it into a timeline here. So Today, it's relatively quiet. A few peaks of sunshine as well. Not too bad, although a little chilly out there today. Tonight, overnight lows fall into the teens and single digits with clouds increasing. A south wind tomorrow, providing us with a relatively quiet day. No lake effect to track tomorrow until tomorrow evening when widespread light snowfall works in. This is around the 5 to 7 o'clock hour. So the snowfall, although initially falling, will not be producing anything major in terms of impacts, at least accumulating snow until I would say closer to 9, 10, 11 o'clock. That's when we start to see that heavier snow band begin to move in, and then following that, the Arctic air really sets in place here. We're seeing temperatures Saturday starting out in the negatives, and that lake effect slowly sweeping its way west of our area. So the morning hours Saturday could be a bit snowy, but then by the evening and throughout much of Sunday, it's looking pretty quiet, but still very cold. The wind chill factor here, you can see that Arctic blast arriving. We go from the 20-degree mark, but that feels like temperature Saturday evening or Friday evening into Saturday morning, going into the negative 20 to negative 30-degree range. Extreme cold watches are already in effect, likely to be extended into warnings here, likely either later tonight or into early tomorrow for Saturday, and especially on Sunday, as this cold weather really still sticks around. In terms of snowfall for the event Friday night to Saturday, a lot of spots, 2 to 4 inches of snowfall. It's a fluffy snow, so despite us seeing maybe some slightly higher totals here due to lake enhancement, this is going to be very easy to shovel, easy to brush off the car. This is by no means a difficult snowfall. But either way, still be prepared for the possibility of driving through some snow-covered roads Friday night and Saturday morning. That snowfall will end, and then that bitter cold really sets in place here for much of Saturday to Sunday, and then a slight warm-up following that toward Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Gary?
Eric, thanks. We are back with news.
Time for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. The closer we get to this weekend, the colder we're feeling.
Yeah, we're expecting very cold weather to be here throughout the weekend. And it starts with a cold front which produces some snowfall. This is for Friday night. Most of this falls overnight. In fact, the vast majority of it falls overnight. So midnight to about 6 o'clock in the morning, 2 to 4 inches of snow expected for most of central New York. Going west, there's going to be more lake effect snow out towards Syracuse, and that will continue into early Saturday. So a light, fluffy accumulation, but on top of that, it's going to be very, very cold heading into the weekend. Back-to-back alert days, Saturday and Sunday, air temperatures in the single digits, overnight lows double digits below zero, and that's not talking about the wind chill. Dry conditions across the region this evening. Sunshine, 21 degrees at Griffiths and Rome, a light breeze, a light wind chill. Temperatures will fall into the teens, single digits as we head into this evening. Cold night, but it's going to get a lot colder here for the weekend. Look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. State Police arrest
Storm Tracker 2 mobile app and put the power of Storm Tracker 2 in the palm of your hand. Watch the latest forecast, hour-by-hour conditions, the latest radar this winter. Be prepared. Download the Storm Tracker 2 mobile app today. The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. It's nice to see daylight at this time. It was dark 2 months ago at 5:15, but we are looking at a nice sunset downtown Utica. Fairly quiet day. It was nice to see the sunshine today again. We've actually had a lot of sunshine this winter. It's usually very, very cloudy, but this winter isn't quite as cloudy, and part of it has to do with the Great Lakes getting a lot colder, and they don't produce as much cloud cover from here on out. But they will be producing some snow as we head into the start of the weekend. Just a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's quiet across the region. We're tracking an Arctic front. That's going to be the big weather maker for tomorrow night. This barrels in after dark, and it produces an inch or two of snowfall for most of us, along with that big blast of cold air and wind. Looking at wind gusts about 40 miles an hour on Saturday. And it's looking frigid. We can tell when the front comes in. Watch this. This is looking at the winds from the southwest Friday. The winds will be picking up throughout the evening time. And then here comes the front. Winds turn into the northwest. Wind gusts on Saturday, 40, 45 miles an hour, especially along some of those hilltops south of the Mohawk Valley. We combine this with air temperatures in the single digits. Wind chills will be about 15 to 25 below zero throughout most of Saturday. Temperatures this evening are on the colder side, but relatively speaking, not bad. Dolgeville 21, Deansboro 17, in the teens across the Adirondacks. Cooperstown 19, Oneonta 19, and Morris checking in with 23 degrees. Temperatures climb into the upper 20s tomorrow. The wind chills will be in the low 20s. This will be the last day of relatively quiet weather before things change in a very big way. Again, that Arctic front will eventually drop in from the northwest, again delivering us that blast of cold air. Tonight, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures drop into the low single digits. Some places briefly drop near or below zero. Friday morning, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures climb into the teens. We'll see high temperatures in the upper 20s in the afternoon. Snow breaks out Friday evening. I'm thinking it starts between about 4 to 6 p.m. and it starts out very light. Traveling Friday doesn't look like a problem. It's not until the Arctic front arrives Friday night, and then we'll see that burst of snow. The winds pick up and it turns frigid. Saturday morning, air temperatures below zero. Will be very close to zero throughout the day with scattered snow showers. In terms of snow accumulation, again, most of this falls Friday night. Thinking a general 2 to 4 inches of accumulation region-wide, 4 to 6 inches as you head towards Syracuse, being closer to Lake Ontario. Some lingering lake effect snow showers Saturday. Increasing clouds tonight, low of 2. Tomorrow, snow arrives late, high of 27. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Frigid over the weekend. Temperatures in the single digits. Overnight lows well below zero. Still cold Monday, just not as cold, not as windy. Sunshine 16. Tuesday, we're up to 26. Light snow returns Wednesday and Thursday. We do climb out of the cold. It's here for the weekend, but then it retreats pretty quickly as we head into next week.
All right, Bill, thank you. Staying on the story, nice.
Back over to Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
All right, we're tracking some cold weather for the weekend. Take a look at this photo. This is an igloo. Where do we live? Is it the Arctic or is it central New York? Sometimes it's hard to tell the difference. This is from Brendan in Delhi. Apparently it took him a little while to build this, but it's pretty neat. And this isn't going to be going anywhere, so definitely worth the effort and pretty neat to see. We're talking about very cold weather Saturday and Sunday. Probably a good weekend to spend indoors. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Things look quiet. The cold weather arrives Saturday along with the wind. We're looking at 30 to 40 mile an hour wind gusts Saturday morning. Temperatures in the single digits will be below zero at night. It's very cold Sunday as well. The winds will be a little bit less compared to Saturday. The weather will start to warm up. We'll be in the teens Monday and 20s again by Tuesday. If you're taking the dog for a walk out this evening, actually it's a good evening to get out because the next couple of days will definitely be days to stay indoors. Temperatures are in the teens. Tonight's featured dog, Shelby from New Hartford. If you want to be part of this, head to Skycast WKTV on Facebook. This is brought to you by Nissan. Jason, back to you.
All right, Bill, thank you. The Food and Drug Administration has approved a...
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Beautiful winter day today. Some sunshine, temperatures in the 20s. Taking a live look at Oneonta, 16 degrees. We are cooling off. We'll drop into the single digits tonight to near zero, especially in some of the colder spots. But the weather does remain dry. So live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We are looking at dry weather through tomorrow afternoon, through the early afternoon, and then some snow returns. You may have noticed that it's been sunny. We've been getting some sunshine over the past couple of days, getting a lot of breaks in it. Last partly to mostly sunny day was Monday, in addition to today. But we've had a few of them. And normally I show this cloud cover history chart anytime in January and February, it's almost entirely dark gray. It's usually 90 to 100% cloud cover here. But this year's a little bit different, and here's why. The Great Lakes are freezing over, and we're seeing a significant ice coverage, especially Erie, Huron. Erie is more than 95% covered in ice. Lake Ontario does not freeze over. You can see some ice around the shoreline. This is still open, which means it still produces lake effect snow. But the Great Lakes we're losing that lake effect cloud cover because as the lakes cool off, they don't produce as much cloud cover or as much snowfall. We talked about this last week, and the snowfall numbers have been down over the past couple of weeks as the lakes cool off. Again, the lake effect doesn't stop, but we get a lot less of it going forward. Reminder, keep the pets indoors, especially Saturday night. That looks to be the coldest stretch with air temperatures 10 to 20 below zero, wind chills 20 to 35 below zero. The winds pick up Friday night, and that's when an Arctic front arrives. We're looking at wind gusts Saturday, 30 to 40 miles an hour. Temperatures will be in the single digits, so very cold weather here to start the weekend. Skywatchers checking in, Whitesboro 24 degrees, Cassville 17, Barneveld 20, Inlet 17, Jeff and Mohawk 21 degrees, Alder Creek 17, Skinevist with 25. The next weather maker is an Arctic front. This drops in from the northwest and brings steady snow to central New York tomorrow night. Partly to mostly cloudy skies tonight. We're down into the single digits. Tomorrow, cloudy skies throughout most of the day. Temperatures climb into the mid to upper 20s. Light snow breaks out in the late afternoon to early evening. Travel will become tricky Friday night. Most of this snow accumulation happens overnight. Saturday morning, snow showers frigid. Air temperatures only near zero throughout a good portion of the day. And again, wind chills will be much colder than that. Snowfall expected Friday night, a general 2 to 4 inches of accumulation. West of Utica, 4 to 6 inches possible. Tonight, increasing clouds, a low of 2. Tomorrow, cloudy skies, snow develops late, 27. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. Frigid this weekend. Snow showers early Saturday. Most of the weekend looks dry. Mostly cloudy Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, but we see a remarkable turnaround temperature-wise. Still cold Monday, 16 up to 26 Tuesday. Light snow Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be right back.
Forecast tonight with Chief Meteorologist Bill Karnes.
We're tracking some snow for Friday night. This is an early look at the snowfall forecast. Thinking a general 2 to 4 inches of accumulation. Most of this falls after midnight, actually. 4 to 6 inches west of Utica. Enough of a fluffy accumulation that it will blow and drift here as we head into Saturday. We've got wind. We've also have very cold temperatures expected for the weekend. Back-to-back Storm Tracker 2 alert days, Saturday and Sunday for the frigid cold. Air temperatures in the single digits, wind chills 20 to 30 below zero, and in some cases even colder. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Current temperature 16 degrees. It's cold out there. We'll drop into the single digits tonight to near zero before the weather starts to warm up again for Friday. But again, cold weather on the way for the weekend. And look at the forecast coming up. James, back to you.
Bill, thank you. Senator Joe Griffo and Oneida County.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Karnes.
Good evening. We are tracking pretty quiet weather for the short term, but we've got an Arctic front on the way tomorrow. Snow returns and a big drop in temperature to follow as we head into the weekend. Live look at downtown Utica. Nice to see the sunshine today. Skies are partly to mostly clear, which means it's going to cool off very quickly this evening. We'll probably get close to zero in many spots before tomorrow morning. A live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The weather looks pretty quiet. The big story is this Arctic front that drops in tomorrow from the northwest. This produces widespread snow, and what follows is some of the coldest weather we've seen so far this winter. We've had plenty of very cold days. This one could top the last time we've been this cold, with wind chills as low as 30 to 35 below zero. The cold weather is starting to change the weather. In terms of sunshine, we typically see very, very cloudy weather this time of the year. The Great Lakes are often producing large amounts of cloud cover, but this year, because the lakes are cooling off, we're actually getting more sunshine than typical. It doesn't mean we get a lot of it, but it's a lot more than what we're used to in the middle of winter. And again, this is because the lakes are cooling off. Lake Ontario is still open, which means it still does produce lake effects, but the Great Lakes to the west are seeing significant ice cover, and again, that is having an effect on the weather. Skywatchers checking in. Whitesboro 24 degrees, Barneveld 20, Inlet 17, Jeff and Mohawk 21, Skinevist 25, Worcester, Carroll with 25 degrees. Again, we're tracking this Arctic front that drops in for Friday night. Until then, the weather stays pretty quiet. We're down into near zero tonight with partly cloudy skies. Clouds thicken up throughout Friday. Temperatures climb into the upper 20s. Snow breaks out in the afternoon, the late afternoon, thinking about 4 or 5 o'clock when it begins, and it begins very light. The steadiest snow arrives Friday night after midnight, and it's around for Saturday, at least the first part of the day. Scattered snow showers. Look at these temperatures. Below zero, again, this is air temperatures, will be in the single digits for the high, and I think on the low side of the single digits with scattered snow showers. In terms of snow tomorrow night into early Saturday, we're thinking a general 2 to 4 inches region-wide of accumulation, 4 to 6 inches expected to the west. This does linger into Saturday, so this is from Friday 4 o'clock until Saturday 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Again, enough snow where you'll likely have to shovel. Just keep in mind it's going to be really cold here as we head throughout the weekend. If you can push it off to Monday, that might be better. Increasing clouds tonight down to 2. Tomorrow, snow develops late in the day, a high of 27. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. The weather over the weekend looks pretty quiet other than the cold. Temperatures will be in the single digits. Snow showers Saturday, dry Sunday, mostly cloudy Monday and Tuesday. Will warm up. We'll be back into the upper 20s Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We'll be right back.
Nolan, thank you. Time now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis. All right, we've talked about what's happening this weekend, but this is happening tomorrow. Snow, and we got to watch out for it. When?
This is going to be tomorrow night, so most of this will happen after dark. We're thinking an inch or two of accumulation, but it's going to be enough where you're going to have to shovel, and you're going to be shoveling Saturday morning in a very cold environment, so just keep that in mind. Also, too, the wind on Saturday is going to cause some of the snow to blow around. There could be some blowing and drifting snow throughout Saturday afternoon. It's not a lot, but it's enough to cause some issues. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Things are looking pretty quiet this evening. Temperatures already down into the single digits. It's 8 degrees at Griffiths and Rome. Skies are clear for now. They stay mostly clear for the next couple of hours, then clouds will thicken up tonight. Snow returns to as early as tomorrow afternoon. Most of this will arrive in the evening and overnight. The steadiest snow again is tomorrow night. Frigid weather returns for the weekend. We're talking about wind chills 20 to 30 below zero. We've got Storm Tracker 2 alert days for Saturday and Sunday due to the cold. Mostly cloudy tonight down to 2. Again, tracking snow and bitterly cold temperatures. Look at the forecast coming up. James, back to you.
Bill, thank you. So many folks are dealing with high energy bills, many pleading with their electric companies when they receive those skyrocketing statements. We've reached out to state lawmakers. We've talked to NYSEG. We've talked to National Grid reps after receiving hundreds of your emails asking what they should do next. Well, tonight, the Oneida County executive put some pen to paper, and he's going right to the top. In a letter, he explains the hardships Central New Yorkers are experiencing. That letter to the governor of New York. So many customers are having double and triple their bills. He reminds Governor Hochul that many families are being forced to choose between necessities like food and medicine or pay their utility bill. So he's proposing several ways that Central New Yorkers could deal with this. Number one, he's asking the governor to deploy $1.6 billion in NYSERDA benefit charge funds for direct and immediate relief. Increase the income eligibility for families to apply for HEAP. Authorize a second emergency HEAP benefit for families facing shutoff. Direct the PSC to reconsider National Grid rate increases. As of tonight, Anthony Picenti says he has not heard back yet from the governor. NYSEG, New York State Electric.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Cardis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. Pretty quiet night. It was a nice day. We saw some sunshine. Tomorrow's going to be pretty similar, although we will finish with snow at the very end of the day. That snow is expected to become widespread tomorrow night. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, and all is quiet across the region. This is all part of an Arctic front on the way, which pushes a big pile of very, very cold air through the region. Windy conditions as well, and the cold weather is going to stick around. Most of the lake effect that happens with this Arctic blast will be to the west, and it's more of an issue in western New York as opposed to central New York. The Great Lakes are getting much colder, and that's actually having an influence on cloud cover. We're getting a lot more sunshine these days because a good portion of the Great Lakes are now frozen over. Lake Ontario is not, so we can still see a lake effect from it, but it's just different now. We're not getting the thick very persistent lake effect clouds that we would in every other winter because it's been so cold. With the cold weather coming, a reminder, keep the pets indoors. If they do have to go out, short periods of time only. Looking at wind chills as low as 20 to 35 below zero. Wind chills throughout Saturday, again, below zero all day, 20 to 25 below zero throughout the day. And then we bottom out between 25 to 30 below zero Saturday night into early Sunday. Look at these wind chills Sunday morning, 35 below zero in a lot of spots. And it does get a little bit less cold, but it's not much relief here. Sunday afternoon, wind chills get about 10 to 20 below zero. A good weekend to hibernate. We're also tracking snow, and that will be arriving Friday night. Storm Tracker 2 Skycast, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures drop down into the single digits tonight. We're into the upper 20s tomorrow. Snow breaks out late in the day, closer to sunset. Steady snow is expected tomorrow night. And then some lake effect snow showers and flurries on Saturday. Again, very, very cold weather. 2 to 4 inches of snow accumulation is expected tomorrow night into early Saturday. 4 to 6 inches west of Utica, closer to Lake Ontario, with some lingering lake effect into Saturday. Increasing clouds tonight, low of 2. Tomorrow, looking at snow late in the day, 27. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. A frigid weekend, alert days for the cold. Temperatures in the single digits. Overnight lows 15 to 20 below zero. Mostly cloudy Monday and Tuesday. We slowly warm up. We'll be in the upper 20s by the middle and end of next week. We'll be right back.
Time now for a first look at the forecast with Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis. Letting everybody know we got snow coming in tomorrow evening, right?
Yes, we do have serious cold for the weekend. We've been talking about that a lot this week. We'll continue to talk about that too tonight, but wanted to emphasize some snow on the way beginning tomorrow night. At least that's when the majority of this falls. It'll start late in the day tomorrow, but the steadiest snow will be overnight. And when the winds kick up, some of this will be blowing around for Saturday. Again, most of us can expect 2 to 4 inches of accumulation. Live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It's quiet out there tonight. Temperatures have cooled off, already down to 6 degrees. Clear skies, calm winds. We'll make a run towards zero tonight at Griffiths and Rome. It's been a very cold winter. The weather stays quiet through most of the day tomorrow. Some snow returns in the afternoon, the late afternoon, the steadiest of which falls tomorrow night. We've got frigid weather here for the weekend. So pretty serious levels of cold here in central New York. The coldest so far this winter, and probably the coldest we'll be dealing with for the rest of the winter. Mostly cloudy tonight, down to 2 degrees. Again, tracking some snow tomorrow night. So look at the forecast coming up. Jason, back to you.
Bill, thank you. So many folks are dealing with high energy bills. Many pleading with their electric companies when they receive their skyrocketing statements. We've reached out to state lawmakers, to NYSEG, to National Grid reps, after receiving hundreds of your emails asking what can we do next. Tonight, the Oneida County executive put pen to paper and went right to the top. He wrote a letter to Governor Hochul, and in that letter, he explains the hardships Central New Yorkers are experiencing. Some customers having trouble, having double or triple their bills. He reminds the governor that many families are being forced to choose between necessities like food and medicine or pay their utility bill. So tonight he's proposing several ways to help Central New Yorkers deal with this. First, he's asking the governor to deploy $1.6 billion in NYSERDA benefits charge funds for direct immediate relief. Increase the income eligibility for families to apply for HEAP. Authorize a second emergency HEAP benefit for families facing shutoff. Direct the PSC to reconsider National Grid rate increases. NYSEG in New York.
The WKTV Tower Cam is brought to you by the Central Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired. From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis.
Good evening. We're taking a live look in downtown Utica. The weather looking quiet. It was a nice day today. We had sunshine earlier. It's always nice to see that this time of the year. Things are looking pretty quiet on the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. The weather looks quiet tonight. Big story is an Arctic front that arrives tomorrow night. This will be accompanied by steady snow all across central New York. The front rolls through, the winds pick up, and it's looking very, very cold here as we head into Saturday and Sunday. You might have noticed more sunshine lately, and it's very unusual to get really any sunshine this time of the year. This is supposed to be the cloudiest time of the year. On average, it's 80-90%, between 70 to 80% cloudy. So when I show you these graphs in the past, it would be almost entirely dark gray, but we've been getting days of sunshine. The reason why is because, or at least in part, is because the Great Lakes are iced over, and it's kind of putting a lid on lake effect cloud cover. Now, Lake Ontario is still open, so we do get clouds and snow from that, but the other Great Lakes are not contributing like they typically do. So that does put a cap on how much cloud cover can happen in the same general weather pattern, and also how much snow can fall, which is less going forward. It's still there, but we won't be seeing some of those really heavy lake effect events that we were getting earlier this winter. We do have the cold, and it's just as intense, if not more intense, than what we've dealt with in the past. We're asking folks to keep pets indoors. The coldest of this stretch Saturday nights, wind chills 20 to 35 below zero. Here's a look at the wind chill Saturday. You're going to see this number stay negative the whole weekend. It's between 10 to 20 below during the day Saturday, 20 to 35 below Saturday nights, and into early Sunday. Sunday, it doesn't look as bad, but it's still about 10 below zero. So it's very, very cold throughout the whole weekend, a good weekend to hibernate. 2 days of this, and then things will start to turn around beginning Monday. Again, this Arctic front arrives tomorrow night. Until then, we're cloudy. The weather's relatively quiet. We'll drop down to near zero tonight. Tomorrow, temperatures start out in the teens. We'll climb into the mid to upper 20s. Heading into Friday evening, some light snow shows up. This will become steadier into Friday night. The winds pick up, and it turns much, much colder here as we head into Saturday morning. We do expect snow accumulation, a general 2 to 4 inches of accumulation, and most of this falls Friday night. 4 to 6 inches of accumulation west of Utica, closer to Lake Ontario, where some lake effect snow will be taking place Saturday morning. Increasing clouds tonight, low temperature of 2. Tomorrow, snow develops late in the day, a high of 27. Storm Tracker 2 7-day forecast. It is frigid Saturday and Sunday, but the weather starts to thaw out. Monday's high still very cold, 16 after starting out at 14 below zero. Tuesday, 26. We see some light snow on Wednesday and Thursday with highs in the upper 20s.